Welcome to the Starting Over podcast training series. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos. And in this part of the series, we are going to be looking at Steel Energy. Steel Energy is one of those powers that can either revitalize your character or completely hose whatever you had planned. And with that said, let's really look at it. Steel Energy. Each time an opposing character takes damage from a close combat attack made by this character, heal this character of 1 damage. Now, I really don't want to get into Steel Energy from other effects or other relics or resource dials or whatnot, because those have their own specific rules and weirdness that goes on with it. Okay, but with Steel Energy, the main thing that you are looking at when utilizing this power is the click that I'm on is okay, but the one before it is better. Okay, that's it. You have to have that mindset. The click I'm on is okay, but the one before it is better. That's your mantra. Now, let's sort of elaborate on that mantra. By healing at any way, shape, or form, what you have done to your opponent is said, just by saying it's like, hey, you did damage to me, but guess what? I negated that. Or I did damage to myself in a big gamble, and then I negated the cost that I had to pay for that gamble. So in actuality, I really came out ahead once I used Steel Energy. All right. Now, Steel Energy is really best combined with Flurry in charge. But the biggest problem I will say with Flurry is if you use Flurry and Steel Energy, there is a chance, depending on how the dial is set up, for you to hit your first attack and heal and then not get a second attack, which, depending on the situation, may be great or it may be horrible, depending on if you really need to get that damage in. Charge, hey, you got that one attack off. But Flurry, many times we are highly dependent on getting that second attack off. So that's why when you're really looking at Flurry and Steel Energy, you really want to make sure that they have 2 to 3 clicks of Flurry and Steel Energy. At least 2. So that way, if you're on the second one and you Flurry and you hit, you can get the second attack in because you won't be off Flurry. All right, the other thing about Steel Energy that is quite interesting is the fact that when you use Steel Energy, it allows you to really sort of assess and control how are you going to tempo out the game. And it forces your opponent to hone in on that figure using Steel Energy. Okay, so you might be saying, okay, how does Steel Energy affect tempo? This doesn't make sense. This is a little bit unclear and vague. Okay, Steel Energy helps set the tempo because A, you have this piece that's going into melee and just wrecking stuff, or at least, becoming frustrating, where that your opponent cannot just easily say, shoo fly, get away from me. I'm not going to deal with you. They can't ignore the figure with Steel Energy because if they do not kill that figure, just like a figure with regen, what's going to happen? You're just going to come back and heal some more. And your opponent is taking attrition while you're negating attrition. So Steel Energy against a seasoned player, they're going to have to focus on it. Against a unseasoned player, they're going to be like, well, whatever, he can heal. He's not going to heal that much. And after 3 to 4 attacks, they're looking at a piece that they whittled down, 5 turns ago. And they're back up to prime. And they're like, oh my gosh, what happened? I didn't expect this. So that's the thing that you really have to look at with Steel Energy. Now, I will say this. Steel Energy, unfortunately, is not one of those powers that you can say, I planned for. Okay? And the main reason I say that is that pretty much almost every power up to now that we've talked about, I can say go out there, get a figure that has this power and go play with it. But with Steel Energy on the first click or second click or even third click, it's not there. So what I want you to do when you look at your Steel Energy selection, I want you to look at a figure and sort of pick out a figure that's just going to be awesome top end. And I say top end, your first 3 clicks of your dial. And Steel Energy can bring you back to one of those clicks, one of those awesome clicks, either through regen or healing, or Steel Energy. You can get back to those top clicks. So you're mainly looking at Steel Energy is a means for me to maintain my momentum of my offensive engine. Okay. Unlike other powers which you build around, the main thing you just want to say is Steel Energy allows my melee guy to keep going. Okay. So go build a 300-point team. Try to make sure that you have a melee-based figure that can use Steel Energy, and see how it goes. Really put that figure up to the test. See if that figure can, survive a bunch of bombardment. Does that figure with Steel Energy, was that enough to help negate your incoming damage that you were taking? What modifications do you need? All right. So you might find out, hey, having Steel Energy instead of Super Strength or Incap or Smoke Cloud might have certain perks in the long run that I wasn't quite expecting. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. And I will see you in the next episode.